Give me more Hobbs and Shaw. Give me more Hobbs and Shaw. Give me more Hobbs and Shaw. Look guys, I'm gonna take as much of these two as I can get after seeing this movie. Alright guys, let's get the important stuff out of the way first. At this stage, there is no real reason why anyone who loves movies should feel that they're above the Fast and Furious movies. I myself was there for a very, very long time because of course these are just dude bro action movies about cars and hot women and they have no value beyond that. Wrong. I was very, very wrong because once I started to lean into the sheer outlandish ridiculousness of these movies and how incredibly well made they are, how incredibly creative they are with their action, that's when I discovered a franchise that really has something special about it. And that continues in Hobbs and Shaw, which is the 9th film in the Fast and Furious franchise, directed this time by David Leitch. This is very exciting because David Leitch is one of the directors behind the original John Wick, who went on to do Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and now Hobbs and Shaw. I would like to point out that Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and Hobbs and Shaw have all been released in the last 3 years. So this guy has a work ethic that pretty much outdoes everyone else on the planet. It's also really interesting because David Leitch is one of my favorite action filmmakers on the planet right now. He's actually one of my favorite action filmmakers because he knows how to make drop-dead gorgeous films, which is also in part thanks to cinematographer Jonathan Sealer, but he knows how to make really beautiful action movies with really clear, bold set pieces that escalate in a fashion that keeps you, well at least it keeps me, constantly engaged and enthralled. He really knows how to build an action set piece and he puts that on display in this movie, which we should probably start talking about specifically. This movie sees American super cop Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, teaming up with Deckard Shaw, who is played by Jason Statham, a bad guy, now good guy, but not really that much of a good guy, kind of, again, action hero. And they're forced to kind of come together to save the world, you know, evil corporations, deadly viruses, that whole thing. The plot here is it's of course secondary because it's Fast and Furious, and when you come to a Fast and Furious movie, you're here for two things: fast and furious. And this movie has both of those things in spades. The fast part of this movie is probably what's got me feeling so charged up right now, because these are action set pieces that are so stupidly, ridiculously over the top that they're just absolutely electric. I felt totally alive watching all of them. There's a great sense of just outlandish insanity to each of them. You know, let's throw physics out the window. We don't need physics because physics don't make things fun. And that's what this movie is purely focused on. The Rock and Jason Statham making sure that you are having fun while watching an action movie. And while I can't account that everyone's going to enjoy this kind of thing as much as I do, the way that this movie does these incredibly clear and colorful hand-to-hand fight scenes with just an incredible amount of force and just you feel every punch. There's an incredible amount of power and purpose behind each shot in an action sequence. Then we put these characters into cars and you feel the roar of the engines. You feel the mass of this machine that they're moving in every single one of those vehicle sequences. And obviously that's what you basically want in a Fast and Furious movie. You want fights and fights in vehicles. And this movie has it all. Honestly, the way that these Fast and Furious movies continue to up the ante in their action scenes is just, I live for it. I really do. It almost has the feeling of, you know, these sequences are almost like a kid who's got two toys, two vehicles that just have no reason to be put up against each other at all, just smashing them together. And you're seeing that done on the big screen at an incredible scale. And the amount of coordination and skill and talent from everyone that is involved in those sequences, particularly the stunt performers, putting their bodies on the line. Again, some of the stunt performers in this film you will have seen in other films, particularly by David Leitch, and these guys are fantastic. Just watching them continually go all out for our entertainment, at bare minimum, I feel requires our respect. And then you throw in The Rock and Jason Statham and Vanessa Kirby, who I just want to point out is this movie's secret ingredient. She's its secret weapon. She's absolutely phenomenal in this movie. Just an incredible immediate action star. She's just got so much charisma and charm and just this incredible amount of energy. She goes toe to toe with these two super meat-headed, beefed up dudes, and she makes it look easy. She is fantastic. But you throw all them into this action blender with Idris Elba going really he just fits into this villain role in this universe so perfectly, and he's so perfect for this movie. You throw all of them in there together, as well as some incredibly surprising superstar cameos, and you just have this recipe for non-stop fun for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I really mean for 2 hours and 15 minutes, because this thing doesn't stop even going into the credits. It's just more and more, and I'm here for it. I'll take it all. The furious part is what really kind of levels things up here, because this movie is very much about these two characters who are just, look, they're just dicks to each other all the time, and it's an incredible amount of fun. It's just so, again, I think these movies absolutely work because of how over the top they are, and yet the heart underneath is incredibly sincere. A theme that has been running through the Fast and Furious franchise for at least the last couple of films has been this idea of family, and the family you find, the family you make. And this movie again leans into that, and I think The Rock had a big influence on that. There's a lot about, I guess, him drawing on, look, because there's no pretense here. Luke Hobbs is just The Rock, and Deckard Shaw is just Jason Statham. Let's remove the pretense. It's just those two actors being themselves, and we love it. And I feel like they put a lot of their own interests into this movie, into their characters, and I really feel the passion behind both of their performances. These two actors that are just having an incredible amount of fun, just being horrible to each other. And because of how ludicrous this movie is, those kind of nastier elements almost exist in a vacuum, where the movie never feels mean-spirited because it's just this big, dumb movie that actually has a fair bit of heart. And that just makes it even better. Was every quip and one-liner hilarious and fantastic for me? Not all the time, but most of the time. And for me, that's more than enough from a movie like this. Honestly, this movie gave me everything I could have wanted and more from a Fast and Furious movie, and yet I'm still craving seeing it again. I'm craving a sequel. I'm craving the thrill and excitement that this movie offered. As far as summer blockbuster entertainment packages go, this, to me at least, really has it all. And I think we have to, at some point, just embrace the fact that movies this big and dumb and silly and outlandish exist, and we have to support the ones like this that actually have the craftsmanship to match it, that have the passion behind it to match it, because it is bleeding through in every frame, and pretty much every aspect of the production supports that. As I have said, this is a beautiful movie with incredible technical craft, great colors, great production design, great location, music that really sufficiently supports the action, because sometimes that's all that action music has to do. It has to be there to support the moments and drive them and build them and escalate them. And this is a movie that definitely escalates. It builds and builds and builds. And somehow across this 2 hours and 15 minutes of vehicular carnage and chaos and dude bro fury, the movie still manages to find a heart, to find something to hold on to ground this incredibly insane journey. And I have an absolutely immense amount of respect and love for that. And I don't know where Fast and Furious goes next. Where do they go from here? They continue to surprise me, and that's what makes this franchise special. They continue to push the boundaries. And I can't wait to see what they do after this. So those are my thoughts on Hobbs and Shaw. Have you seen it yet? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like this video? Well, of course you did. You can subscribe to Breaking Banter down there somewhere, as well as my other channel, Loverboy, over there somewhere. You can follow me on Twitter at Loverboy Media, and if you really want to help support both of my channels, you can support on Patreon. Thank you so much to you guys that are doing that already. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. I love everyone that watches these videos. I mean, it's just so special to me that you guys watch the stuff that I do. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. So much. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.